If you're feeling guilty about your sales process, it's likely that you're trying sales tactics that are pushy, that are guilt-driven, that are time-sensitive. Now, I've been there and I've done that, and I've been trained by a business owner who makes 5 million a year without using those pushy sales tactics. And after, more than 200 sales calls in my belt, now I know and I have identified 4 reasons I was feeling guilty in the past by doing sales, and how I shifted 180 degrees the way I do sales so that I can sell without being guilty, provide great value in the process, and get a great return for that value. Let's go. If you already have been here for a while, right, I want to remind you that I have a mentorship program where I help web designers who feel stuck scaling their business so that they can have a more financially peaceful and a more creatively challenging career. So if you want to join us, make sure to apply. The link is going to be below. So good sales feels good, and it feels good for both sides. It's a win-win scenario where you're providing great value and you're being compensated. And so these 4 reasons are all intertwined and connected with each other, but bear with me. Number 1 is that you need to convince your clients, or you think you need to convince your clients. So sales is not about convincing anyone. In fact, you cannot convince anyone. One thing I've noticed by mentoring other designers inside the BONT Club is that designers, we tend to jump into justification mode, like at a certain point in the conversation. Usually it's like when we drop the price and the client is not happy with the price, and then we just jump on justification mode, or we kind of realize that the client is not really interested in or really sold into hiring us, and so we try to convince them that they are the right fit. Now, the more you try, the reality is that the more you push your prospects away. Have you ever tried giving advice to someone without them asking for it? It doesn't really go that well, does it? Right? So how we fix this? The antidote is to understand that good sales is the art of helping prospects realize whether they need your services or not. Let me repeat that. Good sales is the art of helping prospects realize whether they need your help or not. So focus on learning to ask questions to prospects instead of, telling them what you think, and let them come to their own conclusions. If they come to the right conclusions, to the conclusions that lead to a sale, then they are ready to hire you. If they are not coming to the right conclusions with your questions, then they are not ready to buy from you. Now, the other thing is learn to let go of the outcome, right? If you're fully focused on closing the sale, on getting this client, right, you're gonna be pushy. You're gonna be, you're gonna try to convince the client. So you need to let go of the outcome and try to focus on whether you could really help this client or not. Shed light on the gap between where they are and where they want to be, right? Shed light on that gap and see if there's enough of a gap for them to need your services, right? Maybe they're still trying it on their own, and maybe they don't need your help yet. Maybe they are not a fit because they are looking for something else that, for the end result that they are looking, what they really need to invest in is in this other thing, right? And so when you shed light on the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and you clarify really well where they are and what are the goals or their outcome that they expect from this project, you're going to be able to really know for sure if your service would help them get there or not. And you're also going to help your client realize this. And the other thing is, of course, we always come from a place of trying to help, right? But try to come from a place of adding value to this client, to this person, not only of helping them, because of course, if they hire you think that you can help them, right? That's great. But it's not only about wanting to help, it's also about adding value to this client. And there might be, adding value to this client might be working with them to really help them with a website, for example, or branding. Or it might be to help them get the help that they actually really need. Or it might be to, tell them, you don't really need a custom website right now, Mr. Client, so maybe you should, try a template first and try this on your own first. And once you're getting more revenue in your business, then it's probably going to make more sense for you to invest in a custom website, because it's going to yield you a bigger return on the investment. So if you can have that conversation, that honest conversation with your clients, that's going to help you sell without being guilty, because you know for sure that the clients that you're selling to really need your help. So that's reason number one. You're trying to convince clients. Don't try to, okay? Number two is you're using FOMO-based and time-sensitive tactics. So let's face it, right? The internet is flooded with those type of tactics. I've tried those type of tactics myself in my business, and oh my gosh, did I feel gross about them. So they are truly manipulative, like people say, right? Because you say, for example, that the Black Friday deal is gonna end at 0 hours, and you have the timer, the countdown. But we all know, right, that Cyber Monday is coming. And so it's really manipulative. You're not telling the truth. At the same time, I know that you're not doing this type of tactics because you're trying to manipulate deliberately, but we tend to fall into these tactics because it's what we've seen out there, right? It's the most common thing. And the truth is that the most common thing is not necessarily the best way to do things. It's actually, the most common thing is actually what amateurs do, because most people are amateurs in sales. And so that's what they're gonna end up doing, because they don't know any better. That's why I tried those tactics, because I was an amateur at sales and I didn't know any better. Not because I wanted to manipulate people, but because I didn't know any better. I didn't know how to do things better, honestly. So the truth is that if you use time-based tactics, right? If you use pushy tactics, you're gonna get clients that are not ready to change, because what they are prioritizing here is the opportunity of spending less money, right? They were thinking about maybe I'm gonna do a website, I'm gonna hire someone, and they've seen your work, and maybe they've seen your price, or they've talked to you in the past and they know your price, and now you're doing like a Black Friday deal, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna buy now, because now I can save $500, I can save $1,000, I can save whatever. And so you end up getting clients who prioritize spending less rather than getting the best results. Usually those type of clients are the clients who basically give you all sorts of problems, like refund requests, delays in payments, they don't sign contracts, right? So many things. They tell you, I'm gonna hop on a call, and they don't show up. All those things happen because they are not really ready to buy. They are just trying to take advantage of the time-sensitive opportunity that you're using, but they're not necessarily invested in the results that they want to get. So how can we fix this? You need to stop offering basically Black Friday sales. Right now, it's easy to say that, but the thing is, you need to find and sell your services to people who have an urgency, okay? People who have an urgency. If you've seen this video, you know that for high-ticket clients, money is not the main consideration. What they're trying to do is buy time with the money they have, because they do have money. They just want to buy themselves time, and they want to save the stress and the pain. Okay, so if you don't know that, go check that video. It explains it more in depth. But basically, this is a very complex topic, and let me know if you want me to go deeper into this in the comments below. But in a nutshell, right? People who have an urgency to have a website or redesign one will hire you even if there are no discounts, and actually they will be ready to pay a premium to have the problem solved now. Okay? So this creates a whole virtuous cycle that I'm going to explain as follows. You're going to get a client that is more committed to the change, to transforming their business, to getting the results that you talked about in the sales call. You're going to get better results from those clients. They're going to get a better ROI, or return on the investment, for the services they hired you for. And you're going to get more money because you're solving an urgent problem, and that has more value than something that is like, yeah, I need a website, but I'm not going to use it for the next year, right? That's not as valuable as like, I need a website yesterday. Help me do it now, and help me do it right the first time, so I don't have to go through the painful process of like iteration and 1 year, and I'm still trying to figure out how the website works. So it's more valuable. And you also get better testimonials to sell your next project, because better results for your clients means better ROI for them, means better testimonials, means the next sale for the same type of client is going to be much easier. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is you tailor your services to sorry, it's a hard word for me. You tailor your services to anyone. So you feel guilty saying no to the mom and pop shop down the street, right? And you end up eating up a lot of your profit when selling to them, because you're selling to a cost or at a loss, right? Not every client is getting great results for your work, because the mom and pop shop won't get a big ROI for the investment they make on your web design and your branding. Even though it might be the most amazing website and the most amazing branding, they're still not getting a good ROI anyways in the business, so even less from hiring you, right? So not every client gets great results for your work, meaning your testimonials are wishy-washy, right? And they are very random, and this mom and pop shop might be happy, but they are not necessarily getting a good ROI, right? And you're also learning from scratch about what each client needs, which doesn't allow you to go really in depth and deeply understand your client's pain points, the desires, and what they really, really need, right? Because they might ask you for something, but they might need something else. So the antidote for this: use the Cinderella approach, like I call it. So basically, the shoe comes first, and who fits in it comes second, right? The princess comes second. Meaning, define who your ideal client is and what type of projects would be the best work that you can do, and then look for the people who fit that criteria, instead of the other way around, instead of like getting any client and then doing any type of work to fit whatever client comes your way. Does that make sense? So it's a much more efficient way of using your time, and you can also stack your learnings from project to project, so that each project you become more valuable and more efficient in solving the same type of problem over and over again, right? You become a specialist in solving that particular problem for that particular client, and that in turn becomes more valuable, and in turn you get better results, and in turn you get compensated better, and the virtuous cycle begins again. Okay, number 4 and last one. You don't know where the next client is coming from. Now, because of that, you need to say yes to any client that knocks your door. You can't afford to say no, and so you end up being pushy on the sales call because you need to sell the project, right? Now the client realizes that, and they will realize if you're just pushing for the sale, even though you're not a good fit to work together, or even though they are realizing maybe they need something else, but you're still pushing for the sale, right? You're gonna come out as pushy if you don't fix this problem first. It's like putting the horse before the car. And honestly, what ends up happening is that your needs start to come up on top of your client needs on that sales call, because you need the money, and so that derails the whole sales call, right? And even if you get the sales call, right, you're gonna feel guilty about it, because you know that this client maybe is not gonna get the best ROI for this investment. Now, what's the antidote for this, right? To fix this, you need to increase the number of your leads. Set up a funnel to get clients consistently. You need a sales process. You need a sales system. And if you don't have one, you will always lack the amount of clients that you need to be able to afford to say no to the wrong clients, or clients who are not necessarily prepared yet to work with you. And you also need to increase the quality of your leads, because the better the quality of your leads, the better the sales calls, and the more effortless they're going to be in, because you're going to be talking to the right people who are ready to hire you and who are ready to commit to the process, trust you, and follow through. So basically what you need to do now is to start to, after building a sales funnel and getting leads consistently, you need to start saying no to prospects who are not a fit for what you do, or who are not yet ready to work with you and benefit the most from your services. And that's it. So hopefully, if you make these 4 shifts, right, if you identify that these 4 reasons is what's happening in your business, and you can implement the changes, right, you're going to be able to shift 180 degrees the way you're selling today, and you're going to be able to feel awesome about selling to people, because you know you're helping them. You know that you're the solution to their problem, and you know that they need you, and they know that they need you, right? I've had people that we laughed on the call, because there was a guy recently who joined, and he was like, I knew this type of questions on sales calls, right, that you're doing to me, right? He was telling me this, but I didn't know that they worked so well, right? And he realized on the calls that he wasn't being convinced. He was actually convincing himself, because he was already convinced. He was just realizing how much he needed this, right? So it was a funny, and serendipitous moment, because we laughed on the call and he ended up enrolling, and I felt really great, because he was getting the help that he actually needed, and he told me that he needed that help, right? And that what I was offering was the right fit for him, and and I was offering him something that I knew was going to help him. So it was a great win-win scenario, and those are the type of sales calls that you want to get involved in. I want to remind you, if you're finding my content valuable, imagine learning all of these things among other people who are in the same boat as you, learning the same things as you, who have the same struggles as you, right? And the same goals. So basically that's what I do. Like what I taught in this lesson is what I do with my coaching program. I help freelance web designers who feel stuck in their freelance career, and they want help to scale their business to a financially peaceful and a creatively challenging career, so that, for example, they can sell without guilt, and they can create their best work and be profitable doing so. So if you want to join, right, make sure to apply. The link is gonna be below. And that's it for today's video. Hope you found it valuable, and as always, let's bridge the gap one sales call at a time.